My name is Rainier DeSmit, and I received my diagnosis of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder in June of 2016. I was 56 years old. This is my story so far. Since getting my diagnosis, it's really added a huge missing piece in the puzzle of who I am. I've searched for who I am through all different ways of meditation, therapy, psychological, psychiatry, life coaching. A lot of the training and stuff I learned, it just didn't work for me. It didn't feel right, it wasn't even resonating. So the FASD diagnosis is this really neat little key that lets me out of a real little prison I've been in most of my life. But I've spent so many years trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
Diagnosis as a process often opens doors. I often get asked, actually, whether it's worth making a diagnosis of someone for FASD when they're in their 50s. And the reason is really so that the person themselves and the people around them can understand the person better, and so that they can adjust their expectations for that individual in order to make the environment more suitable. It can be a challenge getting adult diagnosis in some parts of the country. However, your family doctor is your first best spot to find out what's available.
Most of my life I haven't felt peaceful. So the concept of peace, I kind of gave up on it. When I started understanding that FASD existed and that I might be on the spectrum, I started for the first time thinking, I may not be built to be peaceful. I may actually not have components that would allow me to relax. It sounds dramatic, but in this lifetime, that I'm never going to be able to do certain things, there's a relief in letting it go. And that in itself is peaceful. It's so weird, nothing changes, but my perception changed completely. Part of my power through the diagnosis was learning that I'm a really smart guy. The parts that are working are really quite heightened. My ability for contact, communication is very strong. My ability for empathy and emotional EQ, emotional quotient, very high. So high IQ, high EQ. And all I thought before is I was stupid and overly emotional. I kind of go back through my life and go, oh yeah, I was, oh yeah. What people said actually was inaccurate. They weren't very smart about my smartness. Some of the other surprises was the low points on my evaluation. My ability to look after the basic things of getting through life is very low. Looking after myself, looking after my job, running my own business, going out grocery shopping, personal hygiene, personal grooming, feeding yourself, paying the rent, and making sure social requirements are handled correctly. It caused me a lot of trouble in feeling comfortable in life. My memory didn't serve me at all through school, and it made school really frustrating for me. Memory for the rest of my life will be a challenge. So I have lots of coping mechanisms. Talking into my iPhone, scribbling on a piece of paper. Colors, for some reason, if I write something down in a certain color or something, it sticks in my head. If I have to go to the grocery store for eggs and milk, I write eggs and milk on a piece of paper and I go to the store. A huge thing that's caused a challenge to be with me is my impetuous nature, my hyperactive kind of way I engage. I'm an interrupter, I'm an aggressive interrupter. It's been suggested part of my interruption is because of my short-term memory issue. It's like a compensating mechanism to get that thought in because it's going to be gone in another 2 or 3 seconds. So another compensating mechanism I've had in my life is humor. I wanted to be accepted by my peers so desperately, and I never had that. I always had this feeling of disconnect, being different. The FASD diagnosis has really allowed me to just relax around people. Like, it's great, I get, I got this thing, FASD, yeah. And then all of a sudden it becomes a topic of conversation that actually raises the connection versus a reason for me to shut down. The interesting thing about the FASD diagnosis for me personally is that it's changed this whole idea that my life has been a failure. It's hard to explain, but almost instantly, I get what a success I am. I get how successful I've been. And it almost brings me to tears. It's such a weird feeling to get that it was just a point of perspective. It was my perspective on myself was wrong. There's a lot of people out there doing studying from the scientific component, the psychological component, the social component. These people put in lifetimes of work and dedication to find out what's going on with someone like me, so I can look in the mirror and go, not a failure, you're a bloody success, man. And that, I'm so thankful for that. If there's anybody out there listening that, like me, gets a glimmer and says, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. This might be me. If I can get one person to seek a diagnosis that serves them to let go of all the self-inflicted pain they've carried around their life, to let them actually put that down, that burden down, that would mean so much to me. Because just understanding how you're built will change how you do your life. It looks like a curse, and it feels like a curse, and it isn't just that. There's a lot that it's forced me to do differently in life that's actually made me a better, more unique human being. FASD diagnosis, that lifted the curse. It lifted the curse.